walking around an outdoor mall after Christmas, I watched the nameless, faceless, soulless people clustering around stores selling the same horseshit they just returned, waiting for a cluster bomb from Ukraine to end their suffering. Is that enough, or would you like more? How about another one? I'll tell you what I'm doing now, for those of you who don't know who I am. First of all, hello. My name is Michael Savage. I found something I'm going to replay this week in my archive. Someone sent it to me. It's astounding. It's called The Found Poems of Michael Savage, that was compiled by a jazz musician who I didn't know at the time, named Sam Gendel, who's since become very famous, a young jazz saxophonist. To make a long story short, I read it. I couldn't believe it. What he did was take my monologues from radio and extract, he said, the core of the words of what I was trying to communicate from a poetic point of view, meaning an artistic point of view, and put it together in a book that he put together. So I found this thing, and we're going to run it again as a podcast this week because it's a piece of art. Nobody in the world of podcasting or radio has ever done art. Not like me, but period. No one's ever done what I've done. They can't do it. They don't have my background. They don't have my sensibilities. They don't have the desire. It's either Trump good, Trump bad, Supreme Court good, Supreme Court bad, Biden crazy, Biden this, Biden that. It's all politics all the time. It drives you crazy, doesn't it? So I'm going to go back to more art. So I was walking in this mall, you see, and I came by this following picture here of this MOTO GUZZI. And I said, after talking to Sam, I think I'm going to do a little found poem, but this time I'm going to do it directly rather than a monologue. So it was a few seconds long, 11 seconds, and I just put it up on Twitter and Facebook, and it's called MOTO GUZZI of My Mind, because this is a beautiful desert version of an old MOTO GUZZI in the shopping mall. Nice display. Whoever did it should get an award for something creative. And I don't remember what I did, but you can find it on my Twitter feed or Facebook. MOTO GUZZI of My Mind. Then I got to thinking about the people here, the poor American people, vacuous, soulless, wandering, one store after the other, the same as the other one. Virtually one clothing store after the other. The only store that's ever full off-season is this one, is the Apple store. It has to be kept full so the thugs from Oakland can break in and rob things. After all, you got to keep the economy going in the ghettos. I mean, in the, what do they call them now? Is there a new word for ghetto? But, you know, you look at the stores, they keep opening these stores, and they're all the same. I don't know, does one person in Malaysia own all of the clothing stores in these malls? Lululemon, Warby Parker, Faherty, Bonobos. It's all the same. I think I'm going to go crazy. And you look at the fabric. I mean, my grandfather was a tailor. I went in and touched the fabric, and it was nothing special, just wool. Nothing special, not even good tailoring. If you look at the lapels, you could see the tailoring on a piece of clothing. Don't think I don't know the difference. Which is why I'm still the best dressed person for my television vignettes. So here we are. The only food you can get in a mall like this is heart attack food, like a hot dog, something with enough salt and fat and other assorted body poisons in it to kill a human being quicker than you can say Joe Biden. Look at this. They don't know what they're doing here. They're wandering around. Wandering, look. Take a look. Wandering. And I'm wandering with them. Here we go. Staring. They think they're looking at the Louvre Museum with art objects. Look at this. This animal has more soul than most of the people in this mall. Have I become a cynic? No, I've been this way since I can think. Look at this, another electric car store that no one's buying. Who owns these electric car stores? Why are there so many electric car stores in malls now? Who ever heard of shopping for a car in a mall? Whatever happened to car dealers? What about the sleazy car dealers that we grew up with? The Mr. Wolves that I grew, Mr. Wolf on Queens Boulevard, who sold broken down old Jaguars and old Land Rovers that broke down. a day after you bought them and there was no warranty. Whatever happened to those guys? Electric cars. I never heard of these companies. Never heard of them. Don't understand it. I had an electric car once. Gave it back after a week. It was so silent, I was afraid I was going to run someone over without even knowing I ran them over. Look at this, more garbage. Crotch shots wherever you turn. People with buns on their head. Another store that looks like the other store. A chair that nobody in the world would ever want. Why would anyone buy this thing? Unless you're from China. This could be like for a Chinese guy who's like a crypto thief would want a chair like that. Who would want something like this? I don't even understand half the things that are made anymore. Who buys them? Why are they making them? Another store that sells the same thing. This store is for fat people. That store is for skinny people. Imagine this has now become fashionable. I mean, there's no ugh factor anymore. When did this become stylish in a window? Who would go into a store with anything that looked like this? You would shun this. Here you go, a little hair coloring, a little toxic scalp conditioning. And so you get my view now. We passed the hot dog stand. Even the animals look bored. Even the dogs look bored. The hot dogs that are being cooked look more alive than most of the dogs that are in this mall. I got to tell you something about this mall, and then I'm going to go. I'm just having fun today. Look at these cute little dogs. I guess they went pottery barn. They want to go pottery. And you look in the window in the middle of the cold day and between the rainstorm, and they're selling you the trendsetter for the tropics. And you're supposed to imagine being with your beautiful wife or girlfriend in a shifty little dress, picking up the scent of the woman and being intoxicated by the beauty of the islands with mixtures of plumeria and poi sandwiches in the middle of the fake laughter of the junkies in the ads. So one other thing before I leave you, if you're still listening, you're worse off than I am for even doing this. It means you're more desperate than I am. But I don't feel desperate. I actually feel good. I feel very good because I had food poisoning for 2 days. And you know, there's something about coming out of food poisoning. You feel liberated. You're like, it's a purge. I even know what I got it from. I don't even want to go into it. That's not important. So right here, this is an historic spot. This nondescript plaza by this Nordstrom here in this nondescript mall is where a certain Michael Savage first wrote Xenon, Xenon, in 1982. Right about here, when he walked around this vacuous mall. Even then, this was way before radio. It was in between things, in between careers. I was still writing, and I was writing great things, really good things. Actually, I was doing some of my best work in between things. That's how it goes. You need a lot of leisure to do good things. You can't have a cluttered mind. And it was right here in this empty mall, right about there, that I wrote Xenon. It's actually my masterpiece. Those of you who know literature know what Xenon is. A futuristic society. What a beautiful big boy. What's her name?
His name is Mogul.
Mogul. Can I say hello from a distance?
He will maybe get up and come to you.
I know, he's so friendly. You want to bring me a cask of whiskey?
Come here.
They don't do that anymore.
He doesn't want to leave, and so he is sat.
Why, he's tired? He's old?
Well, yes, but also he's just stubborn and intelligent.
He's trying to get you to do something,
He's
right?
100 pounds, so
What do they call it? Bernese Mountain Dew? Bernese. Are you a Bernese?
they're Swiss.
Yeah. They need the snow, don't they? Taking him
Maybe
to
we can tie you to this.
take him to Tahoe for the night.
Exactly.
Nice to see you. Anyway, folks, that's it. Here's another car that nobody will buy, a Fisker. I don't understand even the names. I grew up, there was a Cadillac, a Buick, a Chevrolet, an Oldsmobile. Then across the pond, there was the Chrysler. Then if you really had no money, you bought something else. But a Fisker now? Why would anyone want a Fisker? What does this car do that no other car does? Why would I want such a thing? What is the point of this thing? You trying to look like you're at war in Ukraine against Russia in this? If you're a putz who drives around on the road cutting off old women with gray hair, you'd want a car like this to look tough? What kind of stupid car is this? I don't even understand it. It's not that I can't understand it. I'm sure I could. As you can see, I'm in my special state of mind right now. No, I didn't get food poisoning from the scallops at all. When I select my food in the market, I never get sick. I know exactly what happened. And it's not worth talking about because it's my food poisoning, not yours. And using all of my home remedies known to mankind, I did the opposite of what the, the books say to do. I cooked the spiciest food last night. They tell you to avoid spices and like eat a banana. That's like when in the old days when they would tell you that you should, the doctor would say smoke a camel for your health. Well, no, in the day when ulcers were very, very common in America, they told poor men to drink milk, which was the worst thing you could do for yourself if you had ulcers, until they came to understand that duodenal ulcers are caused by Heliobacter bacteria. And then the cure, the treatment became hot peppers. Capsaicin kills them. So you learn a few things along the way. So I had food poisoning, as I was saying. And instead of eating bland food, what I did was I ate the opposite. I made the spiciest meat sauce imaginable with some jalapeno peppers and red pepper and this and that, garlic. Garlic has sulfur compounds in it that have not yet been isolated by modern pharmacology. And some of these sulfur compounds are so potent in killing microbes. I remember I got food poisoning. What, shall I go on or shall I stop? Bored enough to listen to more? Let me let you look at me because I'm so good looking. Don't I look cheerful? I'm happy to be alive. I'll tell you, I had food poisoning twice in my life. This was what I just had here, mild, nothing compared to what I had. Once I almost died in Japan from chicken that I ate outside an airport, something or other. We were in Tokyo, we stopped, and I had some chicken. Oh, God, that was bad. I had to recover in a hotel room that was like a thermos bottle. It was like a room that had everything in it. It was like made out of plastic, the room in Tokyo at the time, a small room. It was like a budget room, and it was like molded plastic that they made in the factory. Whoa, try to recover from food poisoning in that. It wasn't exactly the Ritz. Then the next one was worse. I almost died in the Golden Triangle in Thailand from food poisoning. Where did I get that one from? Probably chicken again. I don't really remember. I was staying in some fancy hotel. It was a cheap hotel. Anyway, I got food poisoning. I laid up all night. I turned green and blue. My face turned colors. And my wife, Janet, sat vigil for me all night long. And they wanted to take me to the hospital, but given that we knew the medical care in Thailand was substandard and corrupt as hell, she was afraid they would remove my kidneys and sell them. So I decided to rather risk dying in the hotel room in Thailand than go to a doctor. So I laid up all night suffering, changing colors. The morning came. This is an absolutely true story. I had to give a lecture in the morning to like 300 Muslim women, moderate Muslim women who were in the vitamin business. They didn't speak a word of English, but they were so sweet to me. So I was so sick, but I got myself down on the elevator, put on the suit, went down, did the speech in English. They were so polite, they applauded. I then helped myself back up in the elevator, went back to bed. And the first food that I ate when I felt better a couple of days later, being Michael and being who I am and what I am, take a guess what I ate the first day I was out of that killer food poisoning. I don't know, it was close. It was close. High fever. Don't know what did it. Just third world food, poison. We've got plenty of them coming over the border, bringing with them their advanced culture and civilization. Look at the hordes of the leeches coming over the border. You see any Einsteins amongst them? Any Tchaikovskys? Any Niels Bohrs? No, you won't, because we're getting the refuse of the world. And please don't read me the Emma Goldman poem, Give Me Your Tired, You Poor, You're Hungry, and Those Yearning to Be Free, because that was written when America was not a welfare state. They came here to work. And these leeches are coming here to work the system, courtesy of your friends in the Demon Cat Party, both for the votes and to have a class of people they can easily manipulate and control. In other words, a slave class. So the first food I had, came out of the food poisoning in Thailand, as I was saying before I got distracted by my own thinking, was I ordered a pizza from the hotel restaurant and had them send up a garlic clove, a head of garlic, and I chopped the garlic on the pizza, and I ate a whole pizza with garlic on it, and I swear I felt better immediately, but it was days later. So as I say, here I am marching around in the mall. I'm going to leave shortly. In case some of you know where this is, I really don't want to say hello to you at all. I just want to leave. I think I've had enough. I think I'm going to go home and cook something really light with a lot of jalapeno and garlic and some red sauce. And I'm going to say to God, thank you for getting me through another brush with the inevitable. Okay, folks, thanks for everything. Some big changes are coming this week. I'll close where I began. I found that podcast from 2020 called The Found Poems of Michael Savage, an interview of me, by me, of Sam Gendel, the young saxophone player, who's now become very famous. He's very famous not only in the United States, his albums sell very well. He's been interviewed since by The New Yorker, who profiled me way back when. And I don't know whether it's because of me or not. He's just a good musician on his own. But he was then profiled in The New Yorker. And his music's awesome. He's a really innovative jazz saxophone player. So I'm going to play that for you this week. We're replaying it, called The Found Poetry of Michael Savage with Sam Gendel. And then here's a real treat. We're going to do a new interview of me with Sam. I found his phone number. I haven't talked to him in years. And lo and behold, I called him today and we started to rap. And he was so happy to hear from me. And he said, I have all the poetry. I said, let's not do this. Let's wait for the podcast, which is coming, God willing, this week on none other than the Michael Savage podcast. On that note, I will say, folks, do you want more art and poetry instead of politics? I can't take it anymore. I just can't take it. It's such bullshit. We know, first of all, they've rendered us powerless, which is what they want to do. When we say they, we mean the evil degenerates who run the country. And that includes half of, or 80% of the Republican Party. Don't think I'm partisan. I despise all of these manipulators who've stolen my country from me equally. But I find that art can save us no matter where we are. Poetry, literature, philosophy, as it has done for ages. Even during the Middle Ages, even during the Black Plague, people were creating great art in order to escape the darkness of the world. And so, if you feel despairing, just remember the human soul is pretty fantastic in its ability to survive anything. Think of the Jews who survived the concentration camps. Think of the Russians who survived the Gulag Archipelago. Years and years living in Siberia and other horrible places, war camps, and they survived it. How? Because the human being is extremely resilient. We're not the weaklings that the TV shows would have you believe. We're not the weakling ready to fall over and die at the merest hint of a microbe. On that note, I wish all of you, whatever it is, where are we now? It's almost Happy New Year time. Okay, can't wait till that's over. It's only another day of that to go. Then the quote, holidays will be over. What do they sell us next? What's after the holidays? What do they get us with next to distract us from reality? Let's see, it's January. I don't know what comes up. Nothing. It's a bleak month. Then in February, we get the President's Day. They eliminated Washington and Lincoln. We're only allowed to have Martin Luther King Jr. Day for the new communist America. Lincoln and Washington's birthday are dead. They called it President's Day. Well, I have nothing against Martin Luther King Jr. I'm one of the few people living who actually saw him speak live, and I was stirred by him, as I've said many times. But the fact is, it should be called All Ethnic Day rather than Martin Luther King Jr. Day. There are ethnic groups, and they also have a need for a day in the sun. Where's my car? Well, I don't want you to see it. Just look at the light, how nice it looks on me. Let me tell you something. After you've been a little sick, not a lot sick, and you take a walk in the sun on a cool day and feel the cool wind in your face, and you see people, is that not happiness? Read Lin Yu Tang. you'll understand what I'm saying when I say the importance of living.